Remind Krem not to piss off Nintendo. Right, where were we? Hello and welcome back to A Few Bits of News. I'm TV Sliver and today we're going over a few bits of news from the gaming industry in adjacent areas. Jason Schreier's been at it again, unearthing information on his Twitter about CD Projekt's bonuses over the failure that was Cyberpunk 2077. Quoting directly from one of his tweets, a CDPR spokesman told me that they'd allocated $29.8 million for bonuses to 865 employees. CDPR allocated $28 million for bonuses to 5 board members. Jason divided up those numbers within the thread. Employees told him their bonuses ranged between 5k to 20k, with the average of 34k. He continues by stating the staff expected higher as this was their first major title in 5 years, but as the bonus pay was tied to profit sharing and Cyberpunk was such a mess, the pay was much lower. Co-CEO Adam Kaczynski was asked during an earnings call if the executive bonuses were appropriate, in which he basically gave a non-answer and rounded out with, "It's always been like this." Bear in mind Adam was due $6.3 million in bonuses as he was saying this. For his full response, check out Jason's tweets linked below this video. During this thread, someone did ask Jason why he considered the game a failure despite its 13 million sales. He was quick to answer, stating the game still didn't meet the analysts' expectations, that refunds were open across all platforms, and the game was pulled from the PlayStation storefront, which at the time of recording still hasn't been changed. Something else people seem to have forgotten that CD Projekt did, they fudged the numbers when it came to refunds. After CD Projekt's Help Me Refund campaign, designed to help people claim refunds for Cyberpunk, which also triggered the pulling from PlayStation storefront, they boasted only 30,000 games were refunded, which only cost them $2.23 million in losses. In another earnings call, the true cost at $51.2 million in refunds was discovered, which was pointed out to include the retail refunds, seemingly not included with the original campaign statement. The true number of actual refunds will probably never see the light of day. If things weren't bad enough for CD Projekt, game director of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Konrad Tomaskiewicz, left the company earlier this week. Konrad apparently had been the subject of a months-long investigation over allegations of bullying within the company. Despite being found not guilty, he left on his own terms, stating, "A lot of people are feeling fear, stress or discomfort when working with me," apologising for the bad blood he caused. Konrad was expected to lead the next Witcher project and was head of production and secondary director of Cyberpunk 2077. The future is very uncertain for CD Projekt. In what seems like a hell freezing over moment, Activision-Blizzard's Bobby Kotick accepted a 50% pay cut? Don't worry though, he's fine with his remaining $200 million a year and his 200% extra in bonus payouts, not to mention his stock options. All seems like this is more than a token gesture considering the company layoffs during high profit gains, with critics claiming he is grossly overpaid, and 43.2% of the shareholders voting against the current practices almost a year ago. The shareholders aren't the only people dissatisfied with Activision-Blizzard, as Massively OP's editor-in-chief, Bree Royce, has kept a close eye on the company's investor reports for the past few years, in which she states numbers have been drifting down for Blizzard since 2018. As Blizzard have stopped announcing subscription numbers since World of Warcraft's Warlords of Draenor, Activision-Blizzard now tie all Blizzard games onto monthly active users, or MAUs. Bree distilled the information down, in which we highlight key points. MAUs were at 37 million in Q3 2018 during Battle for Azeroth's launch, 35 million in Q4 2018 during the mass layoffs. This trends down to 33 million Q3 2019 during the opening of WoW Classic, going down to 32 million Q4 during the Blitzchung incident. It holds that number for most of 2020 during the current pandemic, until the following Q4 where it drops to 29 million. That was around the launch of WoW's current expansion Shadowlands, ending at this current quarter of 2021 at 27 million. Bree sums this up as Blizzard losing 11 million active users over the course of 3 years, which is around 29% of its user base, despite both Shadowlands and Classic bringing revenue growth of 7% year on year. Most of this could be pinned on the lack of updates on Overwatch, also with Jeff leaving Overwatch 2's development as reported previously, and with StarCraft and Heroes of the Storm seemingly put out to pasture. It seems that most of this turnaround lays in the release of Diablo 2 Resurrected, Diablo Immortal and WoW Classic The Burning Crusade, all set to be released later this year. Let's hope poor Bobby's wallet can hold out. Poor Outriders just can't have a good week, can it? In their biggest patch to date, had a bug which completely killed players in one hit. Twitter user Artorius, a trickster, faced the Blood Merchant, an endgame boss, with adequate level legendary equipment plus the trickster's overshield. Artorius was killed outright in a video they posted to Reddit, with another player on the same boss went from 5-figure health to nothing in a second. Apparently other players have been reporting the same issues since the middle of April. The dev team responded that they did not intentionally change any formulas in the latest patch, and we've been tracking a similar issue with damage mitigation since before our last patch released, in which they explain it's a certain combination of conditions that trigger the bug, but are unable to pin down how it exactly happens. However, there is good news on the Outriders front. Items are beginning to be restored from the inventory wipe major bug, however it's with caveats. For one, it will start with Group A, otherwise known as the players who can't log in. They'll be addressed in this patch. However, Group B, people who have lost their gear but can log in, will be addressed at a later date. Furthering the rules, anything that was equipped at the time of the bug will be restored regardless, and legendary items will be restored no matter where they were at the time. After that, only the next 20 items will be restored, ordered by date and rarity. Finally, up to 20 player discarded legendary items may be restored with gold rolls applied. In similar news, the latest PlayStation 5 exclusive Returnal has patch issues of its own. Its latest patch, intended to reduce crashes and other issues, ended up causing more problems than solved. When players applied the patch, reports of corrupted saves started to appear, and outlets started to suggest to either suspend the game from updating for the time being. The game developer Housemarque in the end pulled the patch, telling players to re-download the game with the rolled back patch instead. This isn't the only thing Housemarque has dealt with over the game's launch, as many players have requested a save function during their long runs in the game. Being a roguelite, the game resets progress back to the start, only keeping key items going forward. Seeing as runs can last up to 2 hours on average, many can understand why the feature is requested, as many other roguelites with similar session times, like Dead Cells and Hades, have said option already. Seeing as Returnal's price tag is £70, we'll be sure to keep you updated on this one. A few weeks ago, we reported that Discord was rumoured to be purchased by Microsoft, later to be confirmed they were actually in talks to do so, in which finally Discord themselves walked away from the deal, stating they wanted to remain independent. This week has discovered a possible reason why. In a blog post on SIE.blog, Sony's official blog site, announced a partnership with Discord with integration into PlayStation systems coming some point next year. The exact amount of investment was not given, but with this new partnership there is hope for a proper integration of Discord with the PlayStation 5, in which cross-platform games like MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV would be in great benefit of. Not to data dump on you all this time, but a whole new set of data appeared in the Apple vs Epic case as Simon Cowlis tweeted out a series of tweets with sales data from 2019 in the Epic Game Store's free game promotion. Over the 39 games listed, it seems Epic only really spent around $11 million in securing those deals, considerably lower than what people were expecting, averaging around just over $280,000 per deal. Also included in this data dump, Take-Two received $146 million for their 6-month deal with Borderlands 3, divided between the $115 million for the game, plus marketing and a one-off fee, and the minimum guarantee of $80 million in the first 2 weeks. On the fortnight end, between 2018 and 2019, they made $9.8 billion in total, $5.4 billion in 2018 and $3.7 billion in 2019, which is not too shocking when Epic claims the largest game in the world, in which in June 2020 they boasted 80.4 million monthly players. When going back to 2018, they only had 78.3 million, so there may be something to those TikTok dancers after all. No, you are not misreading the header, as this was announced just yesterday. The top-down hack and slash from the PlayStation 2 era, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, is released 20 years after its first release. Today! This remake supports up to 4K and continues to have its local co-op as in the original. With its not really a direct follow-up, Dark Alliance and Baldur's Gate 3 due out later this year, it's a good time to be a fan of this end of the D&D IP. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is out now on PlayStation, Xbox and Switch, with PC and mobile coming later in the year. Continuing after the events of Resident Evil 7, Capcom's 8th mainline installment of Resident Evil, Village, takes Resident Evil 7's protagonist Ethan Winters to a new location, hoping to put the past behind him. If only that was so easy to do. Included with this game is Resident Evil Reverse, a 6-player deathmatch mode, oddly enough marketed separately on storefronts, but cannot be bought standalone. Let's hope this mode doesn't detract from the main game, much like Resident Evil Resistance with RE3's remake. Resident Evil Village is out today on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Hood, Outlaws and Legends, which has entered early release today if you pre-ordered, is the PvPvE team-based game in which 2 teams of 4 infiltrate by quiet stealth or by loud brute force in heists to steal treasure from lords and ladies in this Robin Hood-styled action game. Pick from 4 classes: the Hunter, the Ranger, the Brawler or the Mystic, with other classes due out over the course of the year. Will you rob from the rich or be cut down yourself? Out on May 10th on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Year 4 of Destiny 2 continues with its 3rd season of content, Season of the Splicer, The Vex have directly attacked the tower, and for the first time in the history of the Earth, the sun did not rise, and the Earth is trapped in a Vex simulation of endless night. Guardians will need to team up with Mithrax, now revealed to be a Splicer, to hack and directly enter the Vex network in their new 6-player season content Override. But that is not all that's hiding in the network. The long-awaited return of Destiny 1's Vault of Glass raid arrives this season, free to all players. Along with this season's season track comes a new exotic stasis sidearm and a new set of universal ornaments, but noticeably no new seasonal armour. With the rest of the season itself comes 30 new weapons, 3 new exotic boots, 1 for each class, and as discussed last week, the controversial armour synthesis system. This season starts 11th May and runs till August 24th on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Wow, thank you for joining this week's A Few Bits of News. If you want to find any of the links to the articles we've gone from, then please have a look in the description below. There's links also to my Twitch page, as well as my Patreon and Ko-fi links if you want to give a bit of support to this, as well as Kremlik, who is actually the person behind most of the text in this. Thank you very much everyone for watching, and we'll catch you next week.